Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next episode. Glad you could make it yet again. I do appreciate you showing up here. Before we get going on this week's chapter, there's quite a bit of cleanup we need to do. You may have noticed that we're slowly starting to run out of things, as you see in this line right here. I try to keep all my drawers at 64, but due to limitations in speed and crafting, we're starting to slow down more and more on items getting not only into our system, but then being crafted and put back into our system. I have shut down the auto importing of the numbers into the smeltery because we were getting way too many of some numbers. I have a fix for that, but we need to implement it. Also, we are not making latex fast enough. I also have a fix for that. So there's a few other things. We're running low on carbon, which gets used in a few places. Our sand is getting low because it's being used for, as you can see behind me in the our cool little crafting grid back there. TNT gets made with it. Also paper, sandpaper, and also for the printed silicone wafers. Sand gets used quite a bit. I am pulling it out of EMC, but just not fast enough. So I need to upgrade the EMC link. So there's quite a bit of housekeeping chores that I need to do before we get going with today's episode. Now that we have digital storage and we have an interface into our EMC, we can actually upgrade a lot of this pretty quickly. So I'm going to get through some of that before we start on this week's chapter, and it will just help us out as we progress through the chapter, because we're going to need latex fast, well, a lot faster than we're currently making it. We're going to need plastic sheets a lot faster than we're currently making it, and we're going to need compressed stone. Also, I need to get the extended crafting system back out and running because we're going to need a lot of auto crafters. I have a plan to redo this line right here, and unfortunately I think we might have to get rid of our cool little setup here. I don't know, maybe we'll leave it for now, but it is definitely a bottleneck. There's been some suggestions to go to auto crafters, and those will be way quicker. They just won't look as cool. But all right, well, when we get into the actual chapter this week, which is more industrial foregoing, so that's exciting. We'll get to learn more. We're going to get into the dissolution chamber and the mob slaughter factory and some more cool items with that mod. So once we get into that, I'll explain more and let you know what we're doing. But in the meantime, we're just gonna upgrade some of our lines, and I'll let you know what I do and what I did to make it a little faster and a little more efficient. Okay, first thing, I'm just gonna start with this line and work my way back. So this line right here is all needed to just make sand so that we can make sandpaper. Now I have an EMC link right here feeding into here. We're going to upgrade this so that it'll feed sand faster, but because of that, we don't need any of these. All of these were just to make sand. Oh, it's so nice having the transmutation interface, because now I don't have to go making all these. It'll just pull them straight out. I love it. Okay, so all of that. Oh yeah, look at it. Now it's catching up. Okay, so sand, we're good now. Next, all of this line is to make coke. The first part of it is just the trees, or the logs, sorry. We smelt it into charcoal, and then the charcoal gets turned into coke, and then blah, blah, blah. We can instead use coal, which does have an EMC value, so we can skip basically from here to the left. We can get rid of all of that and just have a EMC right here connected to coal. So we're going to do that now. Okay. That takes care of the coke line. It's slowly filling up. We can put acceleration cards in our Applied Energistics interface on the import bus, and that'll speed this up, but I'm not too worried about it. It keeps up, no problem. Okay, now to make this line faster, because it keeps running out, we're going to do the same thing for copper. So all of this line is to just get copper to right here, and then we make copper sheets. I'm going to replace all of this with EMC to just get to copper sheets. This should fill up like almost immediately. Yep. Okay, copper's stocked. Coal is stocked. Okay, so here's the new and improved mathematical logimigation situmigation. So basically what happens is we pull the numbers individually now from our network, and they go into these pipes. Each one of these is filtered for a specific number. So there's 12 individual smelters. They each only smelt a single number. So here's 8, true, false. So I just started at 0. So it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then true, false. Okay, so those get smelted individually. Each one of them has their own seared fuel tank with the abstruse waste. That's all coming from our network. That all gets piped into these drawers right here. There's one drawer for each, or a quarter of a drawer. They'll only hold 8 buckets. I may upgrade them. Right now, we're having a hard time even keeping up with 8 because these are slow and I'm only making a few of these, right? I should upgrade this to make more. But for now, this is what we got. So now we have individual liquefied logic of each number. This will store up to 8 buckets, like I said. Then we have just a simple subnetwork with a controller here. Probably don't need the controller, but that way I can power it. So I just did it that way again. There's an import bus on the back of each of these drawers, so there's only 3 channels being used. And then there's a 4th channel in this subnetwork that connects to right here. Here's the magic. This is a precise storage bus. In here, we say I only want 1 bucket of each of these. So no longer will it fill a bunch of 5s in here. It will only store 1 bucket of each of these, and no more, no less. And then once there's at least 1 bucket of each of these, the smeltery knows to make the liquefied computation matrix. So right now we only have 9 buckets, but that's because we're missing a bunch of other numbers. And that's probably just because this is, yeah, they're empty over here. They're just going real slow. And these are empty because we're basically right now our bottleneck is this. In order to make the silicone presses that we need, it requires this whatever these things are called, the silicone compound, which requires these coke chunks. So this line right here is our bottleneck. I might have to double this line up. I didn't give myself enough space to do that right here. I could go down to the basement and do that, but there's the new and improved smeltery. All right, so next on our list is making latex. Now I did notice, note 3, stripped acacia logs don't have any tree liquids. Okay, so this note right here tells me that once we've sucked all the latex out, it turns into this, and then there's nothing left. Although it does look like there's still something being pulled out. But it could be quicker if we get rid of that and then replace it. So we are going to use annihilation planes after all. Also, looking ahead a few chapters. So here's the chapter we're on now. We need latex and plastic for quite a bit. Also, that's this chapter. And then also for next chapter, we need more. All of this requires plastic and latex as well, because we're going to want the upgraded cards. So I added a few here to my favorites. These add-on cards make the Industrial Foregoing machines faster, a lot more efficient. And then, well, this one's the range card. So for our mob slaughter factory, we're going to want this to make a bigger area. Otherwise, it's just a 1x1 square right in front of it, which is basically useless. So we need a fair amount of latex to do all of this. So I need to up our latex processing, basically, is what I'm saying. And I'm going to do another row plus annihilation planes, and that should hopefully get us going much quicker. Okay. So the key part about these annihilation planes is that you don't set a filter on them. Just whatever's in front of them, it needs somewhere for it to go. So I only want them to take the logs, or sorry, the stripped, but not the actual log. We're going to set up a drawer just for those. And since this always stays full, it won't pull out the acacia log because this is full. Now what we could do is we could put a fiber right here. Okay, so the way I have the formation plane set up is, since there's a fiber right here, this is its own separate subnetwork. It's not connected to the controller right here. It's not connected to anything except for itself. It's just getting power from our main network. That's it. No channels or anything else, thanks to that fiber. So what I want it to do is I want to connect a drawer. Yeah, we'll put it right here. And then yep, that'll work. And then we just want stripped logs in it. Stripped acacia, which it looks like I haven't learned. I haven't learned that yet, which is interesting. I wonder if I put this in here, will I now learn it? Hey, I learned it. Okay. So all I want is that right there. And then I need a bus, a storage bus right here. Oh, these are in the way. Can I move them? Yeah, I can. Okay. So notice now the stripped logs have somewhere to go, the stripped acacia. So the annihilation planes will remove any stripped logs that are in their way. I put these in here. Notice they just break instantly and they go into the drawer. But it won't put anything else into the drawer. Only stripped acacia, and that's what we want. And then to keep these stocked, we can do the same thing we did on the other side. So this is providing power only down to these three. So that's its own little subnetwork. And then these should all be online. Okay, so if I remove these, yep, since there's only acacia logs in this network, just like on the other side, it's all that should be going here. So now I just need to go make a bunch more extractors. So I'll be right back. Okay, here's yet another optimization. The iron line we kept running out because we're using it not only here for the rose quartz, but also over here for the molten ender that requires iron too. And since we've been optimizing these lines and making them quicker to include the TNT, we were running out. We're just using stuff faster. So we went ahead and fix that one too. Okay, after quite a bit of time has gone by, as you can see by the day counter, I've optimized a fair amount of what we have here. There's still a lot to be done. If you notice, this has changed quite a bit. And I did already go over it, but a lot has changed. I've also gotten rid of a few of these extruders, or just either remove them completely, like you can see here, and the one couple on the end there, gotten rid of them completely, or just taken the extruder out and left the line in because it's being used for other stuff. And I've replaced them with EMC links. So a lot of these were just creating, say, ingots, which we already have they were using nuggets. We already have the ingots in our EMC, so I was just pulling them out and using EMC for the lines. It's a lot quicker and more efficient. I fixed the coke production has been an issue for a while, so I've upgraded our EMC link for that. Same with sand there. So that should all be looking a lot better, a lot cleaner. Now our only bottleneck is the numbers still. And that's because of our create. Well, let's just go over there. Let's see if we can fly over there backwards. Okay. So this wall right here, I love the way it looks, and it's just so cool, but it's slow. And also I'm using mostly minuses and only one plus. And I only have a few. I could optimize the math a little better is what I'm saying. So instead of relying heavily on so many minuses, I can spread it out more. I did realize that I was running out of 3, 8, and minus over here. So what I ended up doing was I double stacked our tray here where we're creating the 3s and 8s. So we have 2 layers going on. The pluses and the power symbols, I didn't redo those because we don't need more of them. but we're using a lot 3/8 and minuses. So for this week's chapter, let's go ahead and take a look real quick. The embedded age. I have started collecting resources, but we haven't started on the chapter just yet. So let's do that together. That was easy. Okay, we're done. So this liquid redstone we're already making. So I just went ahead and added the drawer to our network. So now we have access to that. The dissolution chamber, I've made a couple of those in preparation. A mob slaughter factory I also made. And then this cursed dirt is, we only need a few. So I just made, I think, 16. We have wither roses from our wither star farm. So we have plenty, well, and they're EMCable, but originally that's how I got one. And then since they're in the EMC table, I can pull out as many as I want. So I just pulled out a couple, made some of this cursed earth, and that should let us get going down that side. On our board over here, beep, backwards walking, on our board over here, I went ahead and made, if you look up there, I made some glass and glass panes and automated that. We'll just go take a look over here, our very original smeltery area. I didn't want to move it. It felt kind of nostalgic, so I just set up a little frog system here. So basically this guy is called Smelt In, and the auto crafting sends items to him, such as sand. It gets dropped down here, it smelts it. There's a filter on this funnel that says, that blocks anything that can be smelted. So since glass cannot be smelted, it'll block the sand, and then as soon as it turns to glass, it'll come in here. And then this is just the regular old frog that sets the address of main in, so it goes back into our main storage with the redstone signal, and it just pulls package out, sends it back on the line, and it gets pulled in by this guy. So that's keeping our glass up to snuff, and then plenty of panes. We only need a few of these. We don't need a whole bunch, but I just went ahead and kept some in stock. For this chapter, like I said, I have most of the materials set aside, ready to go. So we just need a few dissolution chambers, a slaughter factory, and some dirt. And then we'll combine that stuff. I think this is just, yeah, more the the dissolution chamber. So instead of having, traditionally what I've been doing is treating this as an actual line, just like the quest from the beginning said. So I would have 2 dissolution chambers, one that just makes the flex dust, one that just makes the pink slime. Now that we're into AE2 and we have auto crafting, I'm gonna start setting up dedicated stations that do just one thing, such as I did with the smelt. So all that does is smelting. So anything in our lines, let's say like right here, if it needs smelting, instead of having a line for that, there's just one centrally located place that we send stuff to and it gets done. So I'm just going to have 1, maybe 2 dissolution chambers for speed, but I'm going to set them up in a central location. Downstairs we're going to set up a new room, and that's going to be just for our industrial foregoing stuff. And it will we'll have AE2 auto craft it and then feed it back into our system. And then what I'll do, you'll see once we get there, but I'll still keep this. I like this little setup where we have the conveyor belt with the bloppers going down. We'll still have that, but basically it'll just be all by itself, and it'll have drawers connected to our network feeding the items that it needs. So what I've done is set up a little elevator here. I should color it, but this will take us down to our basement, and I'm going to start spreading out this way. Our sophisticated storage, or functional storage, sorry, limit is this green box. Now, I don't want to go past this, so that's why I chose to go in the south direction, because I have quite a bit of space left. We've already expanded about as far as we can go north. And the island has taken up most of our east, or the tree, which I absolutely love that it's here. I don't need any storage over here, so it's actually a perfect spot for it. I'm going to move the nether portal, or all the portals, to be in the tree. We'll get to that in another episode, but yeah, I'm going to expand out to the south here, and then maybe to the west. We have a little more room to the west as well. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to set up a dedicated industrial foregoing room, and then once we get into Mekanism, it'll have its own room. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. As you see, I made a building gadget. Very handy for building things quickly. Our wand has been nice, but the building gadget lets you do even more. So here's our industrial foregoing room. Well, we don't need much, so I'm not going to expand too far. I think I'm going to put my machines like right here. Oh, and then also we need to set up the mob factories soon because I need a lot of pink slime, and that takes a little while. So what I was thinking, I don't want to overtake this because we still might need it. I don't need weatherproof for the mob slaughter factory. I just need a dark room. So what I'm going to do is I think right below here. Yep, perfect. Right here in this corner, this is going to be for the mob slaughter factory. So I'm going to get that going right now, actually, so that the pink slime can start building up because it's going to take a little while. Okay. So there's the working area on that. Now, as I had mentioned, it's not very useful, so we need to do the add-ons. That's why I made these recipes so we can start crafting those. So here's what it looks like with tier 2. So you get a 3x3. I think that's good enough, actually. That's a tier 1, so 3x3 I think is good enough. One thing to note is you always want to leave a border because of stupid slimes, right? So this won't be dirt, but it'll still be in our building. So in case they spawn on the edge, they don't warp through the building. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? And then the actual dirt will be right here. I probably should have put the building up first. Here's where the building gadget is super handy, or just one of the many uses. So you can shift, right click on a block. Now that's set to be what it's going to use to build. And then by default, G is your menu to bring up the different build things. So what I want is, so yeah, I want a vertical column, and then these are 3 high, I think. Yeah. So like that. And that'll just place them in. I know this is only 3. And I could easily place those in, but when you're doing very large structures, this is super handy. Okay. There we go. So what I did now, we set it to vertical wall and then a range of 3. It'll be 3 wide, and then we just go bloop. And that just makes it super nice for us. And it won't replace this block right here. So we can just kind of build around it. And same with that shaft. We'll do something cool for that in just a sec. Oh, we're out of bricks. Okay. Okay. And that takes care of all that. Now, let's make some windows. Okay. Now we just need some power. And then we will... Actually, let's see. Let's get the pipes going too, right here. This is very loud and obnoxious. There. Now what we want this guy to do is the meat will push down and the pink slime will push down, and then that's it. Just give it power and it should go. So we need some speed upgrades for it. There we go. It's pretty quick. Almost as soon as they spawn, it goes. So we can hide the working area now. So notice how the slimes are pretty big and sometimes they spawn right on the edge. If there was a wall there, they would sometimes glitch through the wall. So that's why around your dirt, you want to leave a gap. Now I didn't in the front, and I think it'll be okay because the slaughter factory is right here in the front, but we'll see. If we get slimes escaping out the front, then we might have to adjust it. But as you can see, we're making way more liquid meat than pink slime. The reason being is pink slime is gathered mostly from non-hostile mobs, and this cursed earth only produces hostile mobs. So the way you do that normally in other mod packs is you get a spawner with a pig or a chicken or something, a non-hostile mob, and you put that in the mod factory and you'll get lots more pink slime. Currently, I don't have any spawners to add a chicken or a pig or whatever, so for now we're just gonna have to deal with getting slow pink slime. I should have set this up at the very beginning so that it would accumulate, and by the time we need it we'd have a bunch built up, but oh well. Here we are. It'll just slowly build its way up while we do other things. Oh, and I forgot. Notice it's open up there. If it's exposed to light, it'll slowly turn back into regular dirt, so I need to go fix that. In case I didn't explain it, also, as part of getting ready for this, this will go downstairs into our room that we're building, but I just wanted to throw in, I set up this auto crafter. This is just for these add-ons so that I could make these machines faster. And in order to do that, you need at least one processor. So down here, right off the edge, I just set up a single co-processing and a 16K crafting storage. Here real soon, we're going to get into more auto crafting, do some of the pattern providers with the molecular assemblers so that we can create more, so that we can just auto craft stuff a lot quicker than the create. As much as I like to create, now that we're A, running low on time, and B, getting into end game stuff, well, mid game, we really need to expand. So I need more of these processing systems and also higher tier. It's okay for the one-offs like these add-ons, but here pretty soon we're going to be doing more and more, especially once we get into Mekanism. We're going to really need this going. So I'm going to start behind the scenes adding more and more and just make our lives way easier and much more efficient, because I'm running out of time. I have 130 days and we're what, halfway through? Yeah. So unless the next few chapters go real quick, kind of screwed here. So. All right, well, let me finish out this chapter. Now that we got the pink slime going, the rest of this is going to be super simple. I'm going to set up my dissolution chamber, do a few recipes for that to get the flux and the pink slime. And wham bam, thank you ma'am, we'll be done. That took way longer. These tables are kind of frustrating. They're kind of fun to use, but they're kind of frustrating. But all right, let me just run down. So I finally created all the access terminals, wireless ones. So now if I go here, I can access the pattern. I can make pattern encoding, and then I can put them in any pattern providers that my system knows about. Right now there's one, our dissolution chamber. So now I don't have to come up here to create the patterns. There we go. And also, I don't have to go find the pattern provider in the world, put it in there. I can just do it all from right here. It's pretty sweet. Okay, we finally got going with auto crafting in the ME world. So what you need is these molecular assemblers in the pattern provider. Your system will push the patterns in. Well, I'm using this to push my patterns in. So you want to do them in a row. Otherwise, if you put all of these in the same, in order to craft this, it relies on this. And if that's in the same pattern provider, it has to wait till that's done and then craft this, and then wait till that's done and craft this. Meanwhile, if they're in different pattern providers, as it's creating these, even though it may not be done, let's say you do 64, let's say 10 of them are done, this can use the 10 that are done and start making these, and then so on and so forth. So when you are setting these up, you want to make sure you put them down in a row like this so that they can share the load. And then those pattern providers, basically these molecular assemblers act as a crafting table. So this is the human player, this is the crafting table. This gets the ingredients, it pushes it into here, it crafts it, that pushes it back into here, and then it goes back into our system. You need at least one storage that stores all the ingredients while it's being crafted, and then at least one processing unit, or actually technically you can get away with just a storage. Using the co-processing unit, it speeds it up a little. I plan to increase this. As long as it's rectangular, you can have as many of these as you want. So I'm just gonna probably do it one deep, but have them going out this way. And we may get into quantum. I don't know if we're gonna make it that far. We're running out of time so fast. And then these, obviously the more you have, the quicker your crafts will go. For now, I think 4 is okay, 4 of each. We can do quite a bit of auto crafting And these only hold, you know, a certain amount of patterns, but we can upgrade them to extended to hold a lot more patterns. So the name of the game right now isn't necessarily speed of craft, but it's just taking it off of my hands, and then also it's much faster than using this wall. Even though I like this wall and this wall is sweet, we're starting to run into limitations. Like these have been going for, well, they're finally done now, but they were going forever. They finally caught up. I still don't have any digital storage except for my, I'm storing FE, but that's it. Everything is being stored in here, and we're reaching, yeah, we're at about a third, I'd say. Third of our capacity. I've been using the drawers as much as possible. I need to start using them more, actually. Here we are back to here. Okay. Now, for this week's chapter. Wow, I can't believe I'm saying that. It's like 30 days later. This is already automated. We have all this. This is automated. This is automated. These are automated. We're up to basically the dissolution chamber point. We have our slaughter factory making us slime. It's being stored in a drawer. The cool thing is, I don't know if I talked about this before, but if you have it stored in functional storage and then you have a storage bus connected to ME so that you can see it here, I can go find the pink slime. As long as I have empty buckets in my storage, I can grab a bucket just like that. And then same with, I can just put it right back in. Pretty handy for grabbing buckets out of your storage. So now we just need this recipe, and we need this recipe. One requires redstone, which is in our network, and the other one requires pink slime, which is in our network. So it should be as easy as going to our pattern encoding terminal, clearing all this out, grabbing this. Now make sure, let's see, yeah, we have 3. This excess water, we don't want to return that to our system. We're just going to dump it. We're going to use our trash can. So we don't want it to be waiting for that to come back in. So I'm just going to remove it. And then there's our pattern. And then this one, it doesn't have any return of water, so we don't have to worry about that. But grab that. So we just need 2 liquid trash cans. Or just 1 with pipes, I guess. Fluid trash, yep. Oh wait, that's a pattern. I didn't mean to make the pattern. Okay. So I think we'll have oh, and then now that I have my cables automated, yeah, look at that. ME smart cables. You want the smart cables because they show how many channels you're using. I'm gonna route those down here. Okay, so something that I come across quite a bit, and I just thought I'd throw this in here, is if you, for one, if you mess up a pattern and you want to redo it, you can just put it right here and make your changes and then re-click the down button. That way you don't have to re-import the items in here and figure out all that stuff. And then next, we want to, let's see, I think we want to allow substitutions in this one so that we can use a Certus quartz cutting knife that isn't full durability. Basically what's happening is it thinks it needs 1 per craft. Okay. And these anchors are nice if you don't want things connecting. So like right here, I don't want my channels to be used up in this processing. I want them, so you just use the anchor and that way there's no cable connection there. Now I can continue this down. I'm gonna go through the floor and then down that way. That will provide you with data. And then we just throw these in here. And now the cool thing is we can share this pattern provider with these 2. And I could even throw a 3rd one on top for a little bit quicker, which actually I'm gonna do because this one up here we don't need anymore. So they can each only have 1 of the different tiers: processing, efficiency, and speed, but then you can have greater tiers and they go up pretty high so that these are almost instant craft. And we'll probably get into that later. Oh, I just realized I have an extra one of these. We might as well just throw it on right here. Oop. Okay, so we have the trash can out the back. Now what we're gonna do is set each one of these for the fluid output. We're gonna have it push the back. There's no, the back, there we go. We're gonna push the back. Fluid output, push the back. Fluid output, push the back. And then for the item output, we want to push the left. For this one, push down or bottom for this one, and then push right for this one. Okay. Now we should have all those. Let's do some more add-ons. So we need at least 2 more of these. We should get one in there. Yep, okay, shared the ingredients. But they're not going. Why aren't they going? What did I forget? Oh, why didn't it didn't push in the fluid? Okay, now all 3 have at least tier 1 of each add-on, so they should be pretty quick. Let's go ahead and try to make the pink slime. And you notice it's sharing it between all of them. They're all getting to play in the game until it's made. And there we have it, all done. Boom! And now we just want to make some flux dust. We'll make 10 of that just to make sure everything's working. It says we have all the ingredients, and go. When you're first setting up these auto crafting machines, it's fun to just go back and forth and watch. And they're done already. Now we have you. No snarky comments here? They ran out of snarky comments. Okay, all that's left is to do these. The bloopity bloopity bloopity. I think it might be time I finally autocraft these. Yeah, anywho. Enough of this basementness. So what I want to do is we're still going to do these lines. But, and here's the edge of my thing, but we're going to start all the processing down in our machines, and then we'll just run the lines up here. What we're going to do is we're just going to put the line right in front of this one. Before we make the final item, let's just do a quick rundown. A lot has happened at the main part of the base. It's looking more chaotic than normal. As usual, chaos just follows me. These crafters are very temporary. We'll get rid of them soon. We have some requesters. We're now storing FE. All right, so for this chapter, we set up 3 dissolution chambers. They share a pattern provider. And then the 2 crafts we needed, or the 2 main crafts we needed for this chapter are right here. So instead of setting up an assembly line like we traditionally would, as we've gone over, instead of setting up a separate line for each of these, I now have a central area, and I'll be doing this more as we get into Mekanism. Setting up central areas that auto-process lots of different things with pattern providers. Those feed back into our storage network, and then for the final machine here, we just pull from them. We just pull from our drawer network. So I made sure there's a drawer that has the slime and the flux. Those get pulled, and then they go into here. These still aren't automated, but they seem to last for a very long time. So I think we're okay. So now all that's left to do is to throw a few funnels on here. Yo, boy! All right, there's our mechanism for this one. Ooh, it's kind of cool. What is it called? It's called an embedded mechanism. So that's what this chapter was all about. Embedded mechanism. As tradition, we got to do the little float up. and hang out with the tree in our cool new mechanism. I do like it. It sort of reminds me of like the purple in there reminds me of the end a bit. And then the green for like, or the bluish green for ender pearls, that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool. But we're not quite done. That's automated. That one's close enough, but now we need this guy. Oh, there's just no quirky comments anymore. But now we need the embedded machine, which is going to require obviously 8 of those and an embedded casing, which is simple enough. It's our flux dust with stripped logs. So let's get our embedded machine. Let's just do one for now. Should have everything we need. My system's busy crafting other things. And there we go. It just made our one embedded machine. And that's it. That's the end of this chapter. While the chapter itself was actually very simple, all the prep work I wanted to do to get everything ready for later chapters and to get more of my automation going, that took a lot of time. I had to optimize a lot of things, redo quite a few lines, set up more fluid extractors over here, set up my basement, get the ME auto crafting going. There was a lot of preliminary steps in order to get this far. And as you can see, I'm 0 of quite a few of these mechanisms now, because we just keep running out of other items. So there's still some optimizations I need to do. For the meantime, though, this chapter is complete. Boom. That's it. There's nothing left to do. We did everything. So in the background, I'll still continue to optimize and to fix more and more of these lines. I'm going more towards the centralized machine now that we're there, especially once we get into Mekanism. So we'll do away with a lot of these lines and it'll just be centralized processing, and then we'll just have individual, like these 3 lines right here, they're super small. It'll just be individual lines like that that do the final casing because I like having them that way. And we're just gonna, as we get more and more into Mekanism, well, we haven't even started, but once we get into Mekanism, we'll be centralizing things way more and doing away with Create. Create's been good to us, and it's been strong, and we'll still be using it for some things, but as we progress, it's gonna slowly fade away. So, anywho, thanks for joining me. I do appreciate it. If you haven't already, please smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more awesome content. It really does help me out. I appreciate it. And I guess I'll just be super excited to see your happy face on the next one. Thanks. Love you, bye. Well, I almost forgot. We just had to add 2 more lanterns. There's a new pink one right there above my head. And then another blue one or green one right around the corner. You can kind of see it right there. So, anywho, thanks again for those of you that have subscribed. I greatly do appreciate it. And this time, I mean it for real. Love you, bye.